what did we do is we started discussing about drop down list and we were talking about that drop down list thing. Okay, let's continue that. Okay, we will try to understand it. So that scenario, I think you should be very clear on that in whatever we have discussed last time. So we have discussed about one application or one program. So that is this one, not this one. I think this is multi automation. Uh, this is the drop down list automation, I believe. So this select thing, I think we didn't discuss, I believe. So we have discussed this program. This is the one we had discussed, I believe. See this one. So we got this was a very detailed session in the last session. So what did we discuss is about what is the difference? So here, if you see this, whenever we talk about drop down list, it has all these methods. So what is that? Visible select by visible text and then select by value, select by index. We had discussed all this in detail in the last session. I hope you remember that, right, friends. So that's the point. So we'll move a little further today. And also we had discussed this is the website we are trying to use for testing, which is actually the official Selenium website. So let me just open this in Chrome. Yeah, this one. This is the website, and we were playing with this with these drop down lists. See, these are all multiple drop down lists. If you want, you can play with all this one by one. You know, right? How to locate this drop down list? Just right click on this and then say inspect, and then choose that identifier or locator from from the tag and try to add that in the code. That's what we should do. So we did this number of times. That's why I'm not trying to again waste, again spend some time here. Got it, friends. So because we had discussed this number of times, even of course, even today we will come back to the same discussion one more time because that is actually a recurring thing we need to discuss every time, friends. So that's the idea. So now in the last session we had discussed about all different methods in this, right? About what is drop down list and how to create drop down list, how to locate drop down list by using this different locator strategies. One is using this by name strategy, and what is this, how to identify with the name here, all that we had. So all that, friends. Okay, so we had discussed all this stuff. So how to locate this with name, and then what is the select class, what is the need for select class, all that is discussed. And how to set this, how to pass this, why we are passing this as element, this web element reference to select, all that is discussed. And then the methods of select, we have also gone through the API of this select class and all different methods that are available in select class. We'll discuss few more today so that that gives you more deeper understanding about how to play with this classes and methods and your web elements while doing automation in Selenium. Okay. Okay. Just a minute, friends. I'll be back. Sorry, there was some noise coming from outside, so just try to. Somebody's asked. Drop down done. Multi to do. Yeah, yeah. Yes, Shankar. I'm moving to that only. The concept is same even for multi. The only difference is so in multi, what we do is we apply this. There will be a slight difference. Same methods we apply this select by visible text, all that, but we have to apply some deselect approach. That's all. So this is the one about multi. So we can just quickly go through that as well. Okay. So yeah, definitely we will cover multi today. But before that, I'm just only trying to recap what we discussed in the last session so that if anything is missing, just to have a clear understanding of what we are doing with drop down list today. So we'll definitely complete on multi today. So this is a quick idea. See, whatever kind of drop down list we choose, is it a single select drop down list or is it a multi select drop down list? The class we use here is select itself, and these methods are quite same for all this, for both of this kind of web elements. Okay, friends. So that is the idea. So now we had discussed all this, I believe. So what I do is I'll just move to the next topic, that is understanding multi-select. What is this multi-select means? So this is, we have generally two types of drop-down lists. One is this is what shall I say, friends? Single select drop-down list. Second one is this is multi-select. This is multi-select. This is multi-select. This is multi-select. And these are single select drop down lists. You can add any of this. You can change values, no problem with this drop down list. But this is a simple sample testing website, so we can choose this. So this is done. You are very clear on that. So as Shankar mentioned. So let's jump to this. So generally, the difference between single select and multi select is what Shankar or Sunita is. In single select, you can select only one item at a time, but in multi select, you can select multiple items. You can see here. So that is the difference. Also, in single select, there is no concept of deselecting. So we don't have the concept of deselect. But in multi select, you have the concept of deselecting. You can see when you press Control and click on mouse button, you can also deselect them. You can select them. You can deselect them. So these are possible options what we have with multi select. And but the concept is same again. See, you do with single drop down list, single select drop down list, or you play with multi select drop down list, the kind of automation is same, almost same for both. But now what do you do? So to locate this, first we should identify this. How do you identify this, friends? Right click on this and then you say inspect. When you say inspect, so you can see here, this is the tag that is set pointing to this multi select here, and here you can choose name or ID, any one of these two, to locate this web element, which is multi select web element. So here we let us choose name here, this multi. So choose this name to select this web element, multi select drop down list. So here what we are doing in the tag, we are trying to apply a location strategy by choosing name here, friends. See here. Now go to the code. Okay. Now what do you do now? This is actually the code for locating this. So here what do you do? Pass that parameter multi to this. So here you need two classes definitely. One is a web element. So web element is a class which is used to which is used to locate this, or which we assign this object, whatever we try to locate from the website or web page, friends. So when you apply this returns a web element object. This whole locating strategy returns a web element object, and then that is assigned to this. On top of that, we apply methods on that particular web element we try to locate. Now select is also important because there is a drop down list and the reference of web element we have to pass to select. This is already known thing. This is a known thing. So we had already discussed last Friday. So you should be very clear on that. Now how to just play with that options that is there in the drop down list. For that we can choose different methods like select by visible text or select by value, select by index. So these are all you can see here, right? I had discussed this already, but let me just show you one more time. When you say this reference dot, you can see all those methods that are present in the API of select class. Already we had a very detailed discussion in the last session that what is that select by index, select by value, select by visible text is can be applied for both single select drop down list and multi select drop down list. But here you can see deselect by index, deselect by value, deselect by visible text. These deselect methods can be applied only on multi-select drop-down list, not on single select drop-down list. These are not applied. Even if you apply, I don't think they will work for you. So that is fine. Now let us just first check this. So what is the select dot? And also, if you want to read all options, we'll go one by one. So then we can apply get options or something which you select first, get first selected option. By looking at name of the method itself, you can easily understand what each method is saying. Get all selected options means you know the meaning of that, what it does. And you can see the return type. At the right side, you can see there is a return type of each method. This method, get all selected methods, is returning list here. This is a collection. Okay, similarly, get option is returning a list. This is a collection. So you have to observe these return types as well. And based on that, you should try to extract this, apply these methods and extract these collections. We'll do one by one now. So remove this now. So we did this last time. So I want to locate these options. So if you go to this one, options are eggs, ham, and then sausage, onion gravy, something like that. So we are trying to locate these options by visible text. Visible text means what? If you see here in this metadata here, right side, in the tags here, tags window. So visible, I had already given a detailed discussion, friends, here. If you look at this, so in this, if this is your tag, so this is the visible text, something like between your start option tag and end option tag. So this text between these two is visible text. So if you want to identify these options through this text, in between this start option and the end option tags, start tag and by tags, okay, or end tags, choose this. This is visible text because that is what we see outside by default. Okay, that is one thing. Next, index. By default, these tags has the indexing. The all these options has indexing, and the index of this option tag starts from 0. So it starts from 0, 1, and third tag is 2, and fourth tag is 3, something like that. So these are all options. And next one, value. Value means again one more. He can see here this value. So all that is associated with value attribute. All these values. So with value, this option tag first up, this option tag 1 is associated with value 1. But there is a slight change between this value we assign here and the visible text we put here. That you should be clear, friends. I hope this should be fine for you. So now what do you do? Let's apply that. So now what should I do now? I want to locate these options, through automation. We select ourselves. This is selecting manually. We are doing this. This is a manual select, but we want to do that through Selenium automation. Or I am deselecting it. This is a manual deselection, but we want to do that through automation. How do you do that? Simple. Already, I think we are very clear on that. See here, friends. Apply this method. Select by visible text. If you want to select by visible text, this eggs, ham, sausages, onion, gravy, that is the visible text. Even sometimes, yeah, okay. So through this visible text, you can try to locate these options. That is one thing. Identify these options. That is one thing. Or go to the tag here. In the tag, you can see here multi, and you can see in between start tag and tag, you can have these are all. This is nothing but visible text. This egg, this ham, or this. sausages or this onion gravy. This is visible text. So we are applying all different methods to understand the select API, select class. So we are applying select visible text and we are passing that text whatever you want to identify or locate. Similarly, select by value. See, of course, one is enough to locate all different options. But this is just understanding how to apply different methods that are there in the select class. I hope this is clear, Shankar and Sunita. Uh, right? And also we have Santoshi as well. So is this clear for all of you? Right. So thanks for confirming. Yes. So now let's try to get a more deeper understanding. What is it? Now select by value means trying to locate these options through value. But that you don't see directly here. This by visible text you can directly copy this and paste it. It will work. But by value, you should go to tag. Here you should go to the tag. And after going to tag, here you can see here there is something like, for each option. This is actually our tag in the web elements under this web elements. And here you should see this is the value. So this is the one you should choose here. Like you got it, friends. And you should choose this one here. From here you have to choose that. This value is not directly visible to us. We have to right click on our web element and then say inspect, come to that tag. And then now what you do, then you have to just find out what is that value associated to that specific option. So now if you see if with this option, the value is X, the first option. Second option, the value is a ham. So you should pick according to that. Now, already we try to locate X. Again, locating again one more time is a bad idea. So what do we do? Let's try to locate another one. So by value, we are locating sausages. In this drop down list, we have four different options: eggs, ham, and sausages, and then onion gravy. So we try to locate this by visible text. Let's apply by value and select the sausages. Select by value chooses which one. When you say sausages, sausages are coming from here. If you see here, the third option is sausages. We are picking from here, this one. So when you say select by value, by choosing this attribute value, we are assigning that here. And the third one is select by index. Index means what? Already we choose eggs, this is fine. Okay, and we choose sausages, this is fine. Now, 0th index we are locating and 0, 1, 2. Second index we are locating. Now we have two more options, either first index or we have of third index, right? Yes, third index. Either we can choose any one of these two because locating same option again and again is a bad idea. So I choose index 3, right? Let's this deselect, we'll try it again. Or when you say deselect means what? Whatever you select again, they gets deselected. Like let's run this automation and see. This will try it again because this might confuse you. For time being, I'm commenting that. So what this does now? This is a multi-select. When we run this, see what happens. Right click and say run as and then run application. And then a window will open now. Browser will open. The same browser what we are playing. Now you see how this works here, friends. This automation works. Now you can see this. So you can see all these options got selected. Now it started deselecting here. Now X got deselected. And then sauces got deselected. And then onion gravy got deselected. By now, the application should have completed the execution. Okay, yeah. Definitely see here, it ran completely and even the window also should be closed, friends. Okay, so what shall we do now? Let's close this console because that is not needed there. Is this clear for you now? See here now how this worked for us. Right. We see that the options in the drop down list, we observed that they getting selected, and we have also observed these options getting deselected. I hope this should be clear for all of you, friends. Is that clear now? So we play with this, simply just play with these methods that are there in this select class. That's all. Only thing is you need to have this basic understanding. What is that understanding? This understanding is very much needed. We, as what we had discussed in the last class, what is visible text, what is index, what is value, and how to apply this locating strategy. Okay, by using this visible text or index or value. This is a very clearly discussed in the last session. So this should be in the last session. So this should be very clear for you now, right? I believe you can do automations for all these trends. Now, another scenario is how to play with other methods of select, because this is very much necessary when you are dealing with automation on this kind of web elements. Of course, this collection concept is very much needed in Selenium automation, because if you want to automate one particular item, it is fine. One particular option, it is fine. But if you are playing with multiple options, then what is this? So we definitely need, what is it, friends? We need to understand how to play with collections here. See, so this is the one. Now, what we are doing now in this, you can see here. First, let's understand from the web page. These are all options in the multi-select drop-down list. Now I want to select all this. Right? I want to get all these options and display. So what should I do now? Simple. If you want to get all these options from the multi-select drop-down list, then there is a method here. What is that method? Select.get options. Suppose if you see here, friends, I'll just show you. Let me be very clear. See, try to understand it. Or this video, if you just go through it, they should give you again, if you, even if you have any doubt. So get options. When you say select dot get options, understand this carefully, friends. This is simple one. Just see here. The right side one is called return type. I think we had discussed function methods in detail. So the right side part is return type. And this return type is not a simple int, float, double, long. It's not a simple, uh, what shall we say, those built-in data types. Right? These are some user defined data type. This is a list. Actually, it is returning a list. That also it is returning a generic list, not a normal list, but this is a generic list. Generic means it is very specific that it returns, this get option returns a list with web elements. Right? So because all these are web elements, no doubt about it. So remove this now. So when you remove this, is I just only just tried to show you how this how the method API look like. Now just apply that method. Select dot get options will get all these options, because we are playing with this particular drop down list, multi-select drop down list. All these options get selected. Maybe if you ask me, Manoram, why don't you use second drop down list? Simple, right? Right click and then say, if I should choose second one, right click and then say inspect and choose that. What is that you should choose here? This is the name. Select empty multiple or something. So you have to choose something like this, right? You can see this. So you have to locate this second web element, this one, this drop down list, by applying this identifier. What is the identifier? Name identifier. So I hope you are clear with that. I'm not going deep into that now. So that is the point here, friends. So if you want to play with any other drop down list, just the strategy how to locate them. I don't think again I need to get into that, friends. So okay, that's fine. Now when you say select dot get options, what this does, as just now I have shown from the API, this returns a list. When it is returning list, first we should declare that list class here. That list reference here. See, and this is just only a reference. So we are creating a reference here. When you say select dot get options, this will automatically return all that options, all these options, this one or this one or this one or this one, or any of these from this multi select drop down list, whichever you select or whichever you locate. So get all those options from that specific multi-select drop-down list, and that is stored into a list. Maybe if you want to know the exact process, it works like this. I don't know if any. Let me use a small paint here. I just need We'll do one thing. Annotations. Let's apply. Let's choose annotations. If you can see, please let me know. Hmm. Okay, no problem. That takes time. I'm opening Paint for you to make you clearly understand how this is going to work for you. See, when you say this select dot get options, understand this carefully, friends, because this situation occurs many times when you are doing automation in Selenium. If not for this multi select drop down list, it might be some other web element. So, but the concept usually will be same. Okay, select dot when you say get options. Okay, so this what this does, friends. This method, what it does is, let me just show you when you apply this one. So you know, right? This is the multi-select drop-down list, and in this you have a couple of options here. Option one, option two. That eggs, that ham, that sausages, all this. Assume that they are there here. Now, when you apply this, what this does is, so this method internally create a collection. What collection is that? A list collection. I'm trying to give you a very clear analysis on this. And this list is nothing but a dynamic collection. So it's more like a dynamic array, what we say. So it's a dynamic array, something like this. Now what it does is, it picks this all these options, and first option, and this array, this list has indexing as well, 0, 1, 2, right, 3. Now what this, when you say get options, what this method does is it go and extract each option. Suppose the first one X, it gets this X and put it into the this one. What is that? Into the 0th index. Similarly, it gets ham into the first index. Inside this is a list. This is a list. Okay, this is having some address. Assume that 100 for now. This object is built, and now what happens, when you say get options? All this the values that are there in this web element multi-select drop-down list, they are copied to this list like this. So first one is X, second one is ham, third one is sausages, SUA, SAGS sausages, and fourth one is what, friends? Something like onion gravy or something. Okay, some onion gravy, leave it like that. Right. It copies all those options from the this multi-select drop-down list and then copies to a list object like this. Now this has some unique address, right? This object is built when you call this method, this object is built internally. So got it right, friends. And you know, right? So this is a list now. So this is a list, and inside list, what is there? We have options. Each option is copied, and even that option is also a web element. So we are just saying that it has to be a web element which should be there inside list. So we are clearly saying through that, what is it, friends? A generic collection. Angular bracket represents. We are clearly saying that this list should contain only web elements. That might be option. That might be anything, any web element. That is the meaning of that. Okay, now this is built. Now what happens? You are saying get dot options. This get dot options, what it does is it simply copies all these options from the multi-select drop-down list and put it into a list object like this, friends. And this list is nothing but a dynamic array, and internally it has some indexing. And you can choose either index to extract elements from this list, or either you can apply different methods to get this values from this list. Okay, there are different methods like get method or multiple things like that. You can choose whatever you want, but that is fine. So when you say this get options, this returns this. Now what do you do? When this method get options is returning this object, then we need a reference of this type of object, right? This is a list of web elements. So what if it is a list of web elements, we need a reference of that type. How that reference look like? It look like this. See, what is it? Something like a list of web element. So first you should create a reference, something like options. You say something options. This is a reference of list. This is fine, no problem. Now, when you equal to, when you say select dot get options, this gives you very clear picture to you. And you say select dot get options. So, the second part executes first. When you say this runs first, semicolon, put semicolon there. And when it runs, you know what happens now? Simply now you should very clear this method, what it does here, friends. This method again, what it does, it try to read all these options from the drop down list and copy to a list object like this. And it has some unique address. Now that is written. So now what should we do? This object has to be assigned to a reference of same similar type. So we created this list of web element reference. Why? The object written by this methods is the same one. And then this address, whichever that is created internally, that is assigned to this options reference. Now, this options reference is referring to this particular object internally. So this is holding the object of this list of web elements, which is created through this get options. I hope this should be very clear for you, friends. So this is what happening here internally. Understood, friends? Or am I confusing? Is this clear, or is the concept clear for all of you, friends? Right. This is a simple idea. Right. Thank you. Thanks for confirmation. I tried to go a little deeper so that you understand why we are creating that. Now, that is why we are creating this statement select.get options, and what this get options does, and once internally how it look like, and why we are creating this reference here, list of web elements reference. All this should be fine for all of you, friends. Okay, next one. Once this is there, so you can see here, this is the diagram here. So when you look at this diagram, you can clearly see here, this is the list of all these elements. Now we should apply an iterator. What is that you should do on this whole this thing, on this whole object? If you want to extract this element by element, or value by value, or option by option from this object, so we should apply what? We should apply something called what, friends? Something called iterator. See, because once you are clear in this session about this, the same thing you can apply again and again on multiple web elements and in different automations. So what is that I should do now? If I should extract this element by element, there is something called an iterator that we should apply on this collection. So that's what we are doing next in the next step. So here, if you go to the code, see, this is a simple iterator in Java. There are more sophisticated iterators with the interface name iterator itself, or list iterator, or something like this, or enumeration. But for now, we are using this simple iterator for, and then we are trying to iterate this list or collection. What we are doing, as we know, there are multiple elements in this collection list. Okay, what we do now, we try to, you can see here, we try to pass this. So this syntax looks like this. This is the element which is present internally in this list. So what is there inside list? Web element. So we should declare that web element reference here. So this is the source. This is the source one. Source means, sorry, this is the destination to where we should copy. This is destination variable. This is source variable. What is source? Options is the source, because option pointing to the whole list object with all that options inside it. So this is the source and this is the destination. Every time this loop iterates, one value from this options is copied and assigns to this reference ELE, or to this web element reference. And now why we are declaring this web element reference at the left side? Because all this list internally has all these web element objects, right? So when you have web element internally, every time you read it out, so what should you do? You should assign that option to this web element, right? So that's why we declared this parameter here, as all this list contains list of web elements. Every time you read, you want to copy one web element from this collection and assign to this reference of web element. So that's why we are declaring this reference as a destination. Right, this is clear, friends. So this is the syntax. The syntax of for look like this. For this is a dummy variable which belongs to web element. So and then this right side is a destination, sorry, source, which has all this, collection, right, that options. So that we are adding here. Now, every time this loop iterates, one value, one element from this options is copied and assigned to this dummy variable element, which is of type web element, friends. Now, what we are doing now, while iterating on this web element, we are trying to say get text. When you say get text, it gets this text from this text from this multi-select drop-down list. Right? This is text, right? Visible text, right? So when you say get text, that web element class has a class has a method get text. That get text method, every time when we iterate, it try to get each text from this drop down list. I hope this is clear now, friends. Now that's what this is doing here. So once we try to extract this object from options, every time we iterate, one object is assigned to this web element, and then on top of that, that text we are getting from the respective object. If it is options, we read it from options, this thing, text. So when you run this, let's run this and you understand, you get a clear idea now, friends. So what do? You put a debugger. My best suggestion is put a debugger here so that you understand what's happening at every phase. Okay. Right click, debug as Java application. Okay, run this now. Let's run this now. So now it's going, and you can see this automation works on this drop down list, and it's selected all that first, all those elements. Now it's deselecting them. Once we deselect, then it goes to a debugger thing. Okay, friends. Right now it started debugging. You can see here it is at the debugger option, and you can check the right side window here. Just a minute. See here, observe the right. I'm trying to be more clear for you so that you understand what's happening in. Now you can see here. We can see here. What is it internally? Now it started debugging. It created. Now how many in this multi-select drop-down list? How many elements are there? One, two, three, four. And for this, the indexing is it starts with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, if you look at this right side window when you start debugging, it created an array list internally. You can say, I told you, right? It is a dynamic list, is nothing but dynamic array. When you say get options, internally you can see here options has indexing 0, 1, 2, 3. Right? And this is holding what? This is holding this all the web elements that is there in the multi-select, all that options that is present in the multi-select drop-down list. We have four options. So the index starts with 0, ends with the size -1, that is 3. So you can see now options is holding all those four objects from the drop-down list. Got it, friends? Now do step by step. Each time you iterate, what this loop does, it copies one object from this. First, it copies an element from 0 and assign to this reference ELE, this left side, this one reference, right? And then once using this reference, we try to get the text from the drop down list. Let's try to debug it. So what do you do now? Go to the run, or you can choose option from here also, I believe. See here, you can say step over. You can say now step over, or anything should be fine. For now, we can say step over, and then now it started. You can see now. Again, what you can do, step over. Now you can see when I say first time step over, it copied the first object to this element, and then it tried to get the get text. Now what do you do? Expand this. Now you can see here, it tried to get that the element. Now you can see element came into the existence. Means what? So that object from the where from list is copied and then assigned to this reference web element here. So, but this is a dummy. This is a dummy reference. This will exist only until this one iteration is done. Once that iteration is done, this variable will be killed. That's what happens, friends. Got it now? Now, when we try to iterate for first time, I'm going very slow. One object from options is copied and assigned to this reference, and you can see that clearly visible here. When I say debug step in step over, now what happened? It copied this first object, 0th object, and assigned to the element here. Now we are trying to get text from that object, which is nothing but this one. What is the text of first object X? That will be extracted. Right, we are going to read that text now. So now we are at the print statement. Once this gets executed in the console, you can see that X getting printed means we are trying to read that from the drop down list. So let's say step over again. Now you can see here. As soon as that print statement got executed, that X got printed here, friends. And then the control jump to the next iteration. And when control jump to the next iteration, you can see before that this X got printed. This is clear, right? This X got printed. And then again now this whatever that reference that got created during the first iteration that got killed here. You can see here. We are not seeing it now anymore. That is not visible. Why? This is just a temporary variable which just exists only until that iteration is completed. Now that object whichever we read from the 0th index, that is assigned to this reference, and then we try to get text. And then what happens after that? We are just moving to the next iteration. Then automatically this object which is there that from the 0th index that gets removed or killed from there. Now what happens again? It moves to the next step. Next step again, it copies element from first index, object from first index, and assign to this element reference. And from that, it tries to get this text from second option. So let's continue this process. See, now again one more element created, but you can see the ID. With ID, you can recognize which object it is assigned to this element. You can see ID 93 is pointing to this first object. You can see here, this one. Got it, friends? So now, so this options, this element is holding this first object, which is nothing but this one, which is what this ham. Now, when you run this, see, apply step over, you can see ham got printed here. Got it, friends? Similarly, this step repeats. Again, it goes to the third iteration. Again, one more object. What is that object? So when you say again step over, you can see one more this element is created here. See here. This element is again now this is not the previous one that got garbage collected. Again, a new object is copied to this element, which is nothing but the element from the second index, this one. Maybe you can ask me, Manoram, how do I know this is from second index? See, just look at the IDs. And the ID, this element is pointing right now, remote web element, it is 94. 94 is pointing to which one? The second object. I hope this is clear. Understood, friends? So this should be fine for you. So that itself says that now this is element is pointing to this object from second index or third object. Okay, right. So now again same process. Again what happens? Again it try to get to that third object options, third option, and then sausages. And when you say get text, this reference from web element, what it does, it will get the text from this third option, which is nothing but sausages. Now when you say step over, see here, friends, you get sausages. Understood now? Again same process. See, again this step should be clear now. Again, it moves to the next object, copies one more object, which is the last object, that is the third object. But still now this element isn't yet created so far because we move to the next step. Now it is in the process of copying last this third object from third index and assign to this element reference. But still it is there with the second index. When you say step over, now you can see the change. Now what happened? When I say step over, now element object again recreated, but this time with a pointing to a new object, which is that object, which is nothing but 95. 95 is nothing but is pointing to this object from third index. You can see here. Now, from third index, again, what you are doing, you are trying to get text. What is there in the third index? Onion gravy. So when you say get text, that gets printed. Let's again say step over. We got onion gravy again, you can see here. But by now, what happened? All those objects that are there in this options list options, they are all iterated. We don't have no more objects to iterate. The execution of this iterator is completed. We don't have any other text also to get from this. So what happens now when you say this is completed now? Now finally, the execution of this is completed, and we have moved to a next block here. Got it, friends? So by the time this whole iterator executed completely, you can see how the text got printed one by one here. And this text is coming from this particular drop down list, multi-select drop down list here. Got it, friends? This is a very, at what shall we say is a deeper introspection of this list collection, and then also this iterator thing, and how these options are getting selected step by step here. Got it, friends? So now this continues and it sleeps for 5 seconds and then quit the window, friends. Okay, so let's just continue. So this is done, I believe, friends. The execution is completed. We don't, yeah, it's again next. It's sleeping, that's all. It's, and finally execution is done, and it will quit the driver window. So this automation is done completely. You can see that red button is closed here. So that debugging is done. By the time debugging is done, you can see all this text displayed into the console here. I hope and you understood. All these variables disappeared from the right side window, from variables window, because the debugging is done completely. But this is how internally this works, friends. Hope this is clear for all of you. I know this is a little I had gone little a step deeper into this, just to make sure that how this is all happening, how this is connected to your this web elements. I hope this is clear for you. Can I guess an S from all of you, friends? Did I confuse you, or did I give a clear idea about what's all happening internally? Oh, thank you. So this is about this one, friends. What does it say? Drop down list of multi-select drop down. There are few more. Suppose you can see, you can play with all this. I'll just give a quick a heads up for you how you can play yourself. Just select few more, just two or three. You can unselect this. Now you can apply few more methods here. You can close this for a time being. So how to play with few more methods? See here. Simply you can say, I'm just giving a heads up. What happened to the deselect part that is in the code? So deselect deselect part, you mean this one? You that will automatically apply deselect on this drop down list, Shankar. So that's what this deselect does. Suppose let me just show you. So let me just show you. So let's run this automation first. You get an idea. I observe this again one more time. Run this. Run as what deselect part does is here. See, for first time you can see when you observe it carefully. See, we have the window. Observe it carefully. Now, all these three items, whatever we mentioned, select this gets selected. Now, that deselect when you apply it, you can see that deselecting each option, whichever we are deselecting. First, X got deselected, then sausages, then onion gravy. That's what this deselect does here, Shankar. Is that your question? Did I answer your question, Shankar? Okay, in the debug, I didn't apply debugging for deselect, Shankar. See, if you see, I applied debugging only for this code block. I didn't apply for debugging. Okay, is that clear? Because this is a straightforward, right? That's why I didn't apply any. debugging for this. Still, if you want to debug, put a debugger here just at the beginning of that statement, and then just run it in debug mode, and then just see how this works. That's all. Maybe put some print statement after that. So you understand after that the particular deselection, then automatically you can see a print coming. That's how it works. Right. So, and this a quick heads up for you. See, suppose I'm just giving you a small assignment. Copy, select these two. Okay, select it says through automation itself. It's not like through manual, because even though you do a manual selection, it won't your automation cannot recognize that. So through automation, select these two options, and then try to apply this method. Select all options. See here. Now in this, just choose first two or three. These three got selected. Now what we do? Get options will select all options from the drop down list, but I don't want that. What I need is so here you can say, you can choose here in this select. There is a method. What is this? Select, get all selected options. Means we don't want all options. We just want only selected options, which are selected here. X sausages and something from index 3. But still, if you use deselect, then you can't select anything in this into this collection. Why? When you said deselect, all those which we selected gets deselected. So comment this code, friends, for time being. Comment it. So now when you say get all selected options, so we are selecting three options. Eggs and sausages and probably onion gravy. We try to select all these three. Now, when you say get all selected options, it selects all those three options, and then see you say options two. Okay, and here also just pass absent two. Understood, friends? Now, what happens now? So this is now when you run it, this time you don't get four different text here, but you just only get three. That two, the text that got selected here, that is egg sausages and the other one. Okay, is that clear now? Now right click and then say run as, and then say Java application. Now you just see here the automation starts here, and this time what you get as output, you get as output only for these three got selected, eggs and sausages and onion gravy. And when you look into the code, you can see this time only three different options got selected. Means whichever we selected in the code from through code, only that got displayed here. Means we didn't get all options, all four options. But when you say get all selected options, means if you want to see which options are selected in your web that in that web element, right, through automation, if you want to know, then you can apply this to see that which all options selected. By looking at the name of method, you can easily understand get all selected options. And if you want to get all selected options, apply this method, and then assign it to this list collection, and then iterate it as we did earlier. So this is how we do an automation. I hope this time, when you look at the second time, when you look at this approach or this process of applying these collections, you can easily understand this time. You don't see big problem here with the for the second time when we do this, when we try to apply this get all selection options, selected options, and then when we try to get those all that elements, and then I'll assign to a collection and iterate it. So this is it, friends. I hope you are clear. Similarly, you can play with many more like this. Suppose when you say select dot, there are many more here. When you say get, apply get, you can see get first selected option. So you can also try that. But this time you can see this is not returning list here. It is just returning only web element. Means it returns only one object. That's that too a selected web element object, which is nothing but whichever is selected there. So in this, definitely it returns first if you try to work on that. So to play with that, you can simply do like this. See what you can just create a, a web element object and then say some element equal to uh, options. You don't need this, of course. Select the dot. Sorry, friends. Sorry. Select dot. You can see here, get first selected option. See, now when you print it, so what you do, copy this and then just print it. This time you should get only element dot get text when you say this. Okay, so just change the reference here, element dot get text. When you try to do this, right click and then run as Java application. What it does, it just try to get only that first selected option. Now this got selected. Now go to the code and see what happens. Now what's happening? It printed all that, and again you can see it also printed X here. See here. So from here we are getting this output. From this we are getting this output. All these four different options getting printed, and from this block of code we are getting this output. Okay, and if you see the last one, when I say get first select option. Among these three, which is the first selected option? Eggs and sausages and onion gravy. X is the first selected option that gets printed here. I hope like this, you can play with all those methods that are in there in the select class. Maybe you can play with them, friends. You can just choose them and assign to some reference and just see what's it printing or what's it getting for us. Like this, you can play with this built-in collections. I hope this is clear. That's it, friends. This is all about a drop-down list, multi-select and single select drop-down list, and how to play with these methods that are there in this select class, and the importance of selection and deselection methods, and also about all different API methods to select all options or to select all selected options, all this, right? So this is about drop-down list. Tomorrow we come up with another topic, friends. Okay, shall we connect back tomorrow? We'll start, maybe we'll look into the actions concept, like how to play with keyboard actions, mouse actions, all this keyboard and what else do we have? Actions means the button actions. All this we'll play with it tomorrow, right? So we can stop this here. Maybe if you have any questions, we can take it up, or else we'll connect back tomorrow, friends.